Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that really shouldn't be an argument, but we still see it online today, remnants of it. And it really comes from the whole novice mindset of getting novices in the gym and getting them proficient at a few big lifts, right? A few big lifts, and that's all they need. And I get it because novice lifters will come in and be really lazy. And if you let them do curls, they will replace squats with curls. They will replace pull-ups with curls. They'll come in and do 157 sets of curls every week and completely neglect 2/3 of the muscles in their body and not even train them, right? So I get it. We push 5 to 6 exercises. Some programs only do 4 or 5 for novices using some basic linear progression, and it magically works for them. All of a sudden, they gain a bunch of muscle. Finally, they get stronger, and then it pushes this whole idea that this is what we need. And it also doesn't help that we have things like Russian squat programs where it's like, oh, you only need a few exercises. But these are for people who are in specific situations. They're usually heavily enhanced. By the way, Russian squat programs, I don't recommend them. If you are non-enhanced, I don't think they're a good idea. They're not intended for you. And the thing is, a lot of that sort of programming leaves people lacking in size sometimes, and it actually has higher risks of injury, right? But we get too many people who do not want to put in the work on accessories, right? And you have to. And when I say accessories, I don't mean just some single joint movements. All right, look at the stuff I'm doing up here. All of this is to improve my squat, bench, and deadlift. You guys will see me doing weighted chin-ups, doing dumbbell chest presses, dumbbell rows, tricep extensions, right? All these things. I do single leg exercises. I do tons and tons of good mornings, reverse hypers, glute ham raises. So when I talk about doing supplemental work or accessory work, I'm not just talking about coming in and adding some single joint movements, although single joint exercises absolutely have their place, don't they? Right? There are some muscles that you're not going to maximally develop with big movements, particularly depending upon your leverages and your physiology, right? Or it's very hard to. Very hard to. Only a handful of big movements can actually get the job done, and a lot of people may not want to do those movements. Something like side delts, for example. Right, side delts. Unless you're going to do snatch grip high pulls, you're probably going to have to do some single joint exercises for those. It's just the reality of it, if you want them to get big. But people will neglect this stuff, and then they wonder why they're getting subpar progress. Right? And I get clients who come to me like that, who got to actually very good deadlifts and then they just stalled. Right? I mean, I've had guys talking 550 plus deadlifts. They got there and then they couldn't get any further. Right? They got to a point where they kind of realized, these are sometimes enhanced guys. I had one guy who got past 600. He's like, I realized at a certain point I can't just deadlift and up the dose. It stopped working. Yep. Stopped working because he still wasn't hypertrophying his weak links. And then he started getting hurt. Right? He started getting hurt. Get to a 600 deadlift and just by doing nothing but deadlifting and up in the dose, and it works up to a point until it doesn't. Then you start pulling stuff. Right? You guys have to do your supplemental work. And when I say do your supplemental work, I don't mean pussyfoot around about it. You need to be doing challenging limit sets. And I don't mean you need to be doing 3 or 4 reps. You need to push some hard 8s, 10s, 12s, something in that range. You need training volume, and it needs to be hard sets. Because we need this to well round our hypertrophy. Because a bigger muscle has more strength potential. And then we have to factor in the other element of that. Better support musculature equals lower injuries. Lower overuse injuries, less risk of getting hurt in general. Okay. So again, you have to do this stuff. And I see too many guys who do that. And I mean, it gets ridiculous. Well, I can maximize my pecs with the bench press because, you know, the pec is a primary mover. And hey, there are guys who are structurally built to where they can build massive upper, middle, and lower pecs off of nothing but a barbell bench. I don't want people to think that those people do not exist, because they do. The problem is that person says, well, that's all I do. And it works very well for them. And I know guys like that. They're not everyone. Other lifters are going to need to actually do some pec work, right? Besides just the bench. And again, the bench can still be a staple exercise for that, but they might need some incline work. They might need some dumbbell work. They might need some other movements in there. Same thing on triceps. Again, they start getting a weak bench lockout. A lot of guys can build big triceps off nothing but some close grip benching. And that will fix your bench lockout. Right? Well, the close grip bench is an accessory though also, isn't it? But what happens when the close grip bench stalls? What are you going to do to fix it? You're going to need other accessory work. You're going to need other accessory work. And if you're neglecting this stuff, you are leaving so much on the table. You're leaving so many strength gains on the table. And it's because you're not well rounding your musculature. You're not well rounding it. And again, people always like to cite a few genetic freaks. Well, this person doesn't do that. And they're just beastly strong. And they actually really are stronger than they should be for their hypertrophy. Yeah, and when you see a guy like that, that is generally clear evidence that they are an absolute genetic freak. They're a statistical outlier. I mean, John Hack, perfect example. I love to use him as an example. He's a genetic freak. He is a genetic freak. And if you take the way that he does things and you try to replicate it perfectly, I'm going to be frank with you. You're not going to squat 700 pounds. All right? Let's be realistic about that. You're not going to bench 450 by following John Hack's bench program. You're not, unless you are also a genetic freak. And I have nothing but respect for the guy. I mean, again, to be born with that type of genetics and to have the work ethic to go with it is a very, very rare thing. And we love that in sports. We love those people because those are the people who really excel. Those are the people who achieve. But they shouldn't be the model for everything that you do. You might need to do some stuff a little different than them. You're not born with those same genetics that they are. And for most of you, that means you're going to have to spend some time hypertrophying all your muscles. And if you don't, you are not going to get anywhere near your potential. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.